Welcome back. Hopefully everybody's doing all right. In today's video, we're going to discuss, is now a good time to buy crypto? I've been seeing a lot of people asking the question, Cryptoviser, is now the time to buy? Well, we are now entering Q2 of 2025, and basically all of Q1, the market has been on the downward swing, at least for most of it. And some of the cryptos have had pumps here and there, but pretty much all of them have been going down. And so a lot of people are kind of stuck wondering, did the Trump pump turn into the Trump dump, or are we still in pump season? Well, if you guys have been following my videos, you know my general thesis is that we are still in the bull market in Q1, Q2 of 2025. This is what I believe a bull market corrective phase before we go into the final phase of the bull market. And I do personally believe we have one more major pump before we move on to the next phase of this market. Now, the next phase of the market may be a bear market. Maybe it'll be another corrective phase. We don't know. But what I'm going to explore in today's video is we're going to talk about Cardano, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, we're going to talk about Ethereum, Solana, Internet Computer, and even talk a little bit about Bit Farms and other Bitcoin mining companies as well, because MicroStrategy, Bit Farms, these Bitcoin proxy stocks also have the potential to outperform the underlying asset beyond what their Bitcoin or crypto proxy is. So let's get into it in today's video. And by the way, don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video. Now, I do think that it's important to understand kind of the mindset and also shift in sentiment in traditional media, in the government, in government agencies, in central banking, in the banking industry. This is all tied to what crypto has the potential to do, right? If the banks are not on board with crypto, we are not going to have any kind of blockchain or crypto integrations. In my view, over the last 4 or 5 years, what these banks have been doing is very rapidly increasing their capabilities and also probably tech stack from an actual technological hardware standpoint, software standpoint, but also talent standpoint. Because, a junior banker who's giving mortgage loans is not going to know anything about blockchain or how the back-end integrations of these technologies actually work. And so now with the first crypto AI czar, and we covered in a recent video that David Sachs right here, he even sold $200 million of his and his company's crypto-related investments so that there would be no even appearance of a conflict of interest. And so this is how much he believes in it. And so I want you to see like the conversations that they're having on Bloomberg, on CNBC, on Fox Business, Yahoo Finance, so that you guys can see how the conversation in the business community is actually shifting towards Bitcoin. Let's listen to this one clip about why Bitcoin, why a Bitcoin reserve, right? Because we're in the first stages of this Bitcoin reserve and people are not very happy about it, right? People in the crypto community are not happy because the government's not going to be buying Bitcoin. People not in the crypto community don't like it because they don't want Bitcoin. Everybody's upset, but the bottom line is this is the first step towards an actual Bitcoin strategic reserve for the longer term and potentially get buying going on at some point in the future so that the U.S. can continue to grow its assets in the space. But let's listen to what they talk about right here before we move on to, is this a good time to buy? Because this, again, is the preface and the clues that you can take to understand whether it is a good investment or not at this point. Let's listen in.
Remind the American public and investors why you need a Bitcoin reserve at all.
Well, good to be here. I mean, the reason why we need a Bitcoin reserve is that the federal government already owns some. In fact, it obtained around 400,000 Bitcoin over the past decade through criminal and civil forfeitures and seizures. And so the government has to have a strategy for how it deals with this. In the past, the strategy has been simply to sell it, in an ad hoc way, almost willy-nilly. And that cost American taxpayers something like $17 billion in lost value. So we want to have a long-term strategy to maximize the value of these holdings. And we've decided that Bitcoin is scarce, it's valuable. And that is strategic for the United States to hold on to this as a long-term reserve asset. So that's the plan with the 200,000 Bitcoin that we believe are in the possession of the federal government. I say we believe because no one really knows for sure because we never had a proper audit. So that's one of the first things that this executive order provides that we're going to do.
And by the way, there's been conversation that they may not even have those 200,000 Bitcoin because they don't know where it is. And so, what you're hearing here is it's scarce, it's valuable, it's important that the US has this. We haven't heard this before, right? We're also seeing a little bit of a change in of tune. This is a conversation that this is Paulo Adorno, the Tether USDT CEO. This is a conversation that he had on Bloomberg this past week as well, where he basically said Cantor, meaning Cantor Fitzgerald, had our back. Cantor Fitzgerald is basically an investment firm that was founded by Howard Lutnick, who is the current U.S. Commerce Secretary. And what we also saw this past week is that Paulo Adorno went to the Cantor Fitzgerald conference. They had some type of like finance conference in, I think, New York. And this is the first time Paulo Adorno has been in the United States. So times are changing, right? We're seeing this shift in sentiment around crypto and understanding that, yeah, previous administrations believed that Tether was bad, right? I mean, we've even discussed on this channel that New York sued Tether and they ended up just settling the case. They didn't like quote unquote win the case. They settled the case, which to me said New York wasn't able to prove that there was any actual, non-reserves or money laundering that was actually going on with Tether. And so the sentiment change tells me that we may actually see Tether as a regulated player in the US sometime soon. Let's listen to what he says on this Bloomberg interview.
Relationship with Cantor is very strong. We are very grateful to the fact that they onboarded us, in a period when the past administration in the United States just tried to almost kill crypto, right? You remember Operation Choke Point 2.0 and the rest. And so Cantor took the time to have and do the deepest due diligence on Tether that is inimaginable. And they got comfortable with us. They decided to onboard us and allow us to keep all our treasury bills with them. So we are very great relationship.
So you guys hear it directly from him, right? And so the Commerce Secretary is Cantor Fitzgerald's founder, and that's his company. And they believe in Tether. And now Tether's CEO is in the US talking at his conference. I think this is a very big indicator of where really just the integration of stablecoins and digital commerce in the United States is. So this brings up the question again, will Cryptoviser is now a good time to invest? Well, as we've been talking about, we have to understand invest in what specifically because these markets run in cycles. I have been saying for quite a while that I do believe that Ethereum is looking pretty good right now. It still has not reached its all-time record high. There's a lot of negative sentiment and FUD about Ethereum. Even with Solana dropping more than 50% from its all-time record high just within the last 90 days, 60 days, there's still people saying, oh no, it's going to go higher. Don't worry about Solana. You really have to worry about Ethereum because Ethereum is going to keep losing value. I don't see how that's possible, but we also know that they have this Pectra upgrade coming up, and this is going to enhance functionality to Ethereum. But the first testnet, there were some issues, and so now they're saying we're going to have a third testnet to make sure that everything works properly. And people are looking at this as a negative, saying, "Well, this is Ethereum can't even get upgrades." Guys, this happens every single upgrade with Ethereum. Number one, Ethereum upgrades are extensively delayed. Number two, we've even heard from the likes of head engineers and Vitalik, just release stuff, let there be issues so that we can fix the issues. This is what a test net is for. And so looking at a test net having issues is a bad thing. It's not. It's actually a good thing that they're testing it out on the test net. I anticipate, based on my timeline of events, we should see this Pectra upgrade kind of go through probably in the April month, maybe in May. But I also think that it's going to depend on where the market is moving, right? Because they want to upgrade this either right before or in a move to the upside, because that kind of adds rocket fuel to the movement. And now whether it's direct or indirectly that they release around these bull markets or bull runs, who knows? I just use it as kind of like a guide. And so they're saying that this upgrade is going to take at least till late April. We'll see about that. I'm thinking April, May at the latest. But in my view, just from a fundamentals perspective, understanding that the value creation, or I should say destruction out of Solana, is really just a movement of the wealth from Solana to the other coins. And I do think we're going to see a lot of heavy investment from institutions and millionaires and billionaires into Ethereum, because it's almost like a sure thing that we'll at least get to $4,000 at some point in the future. And so we'll have to see about that. But this kind of brings us to the other cryptos. Like, what about the altcoins? What about Cardano? What about Internet Computer? What about Solana? What about the rest? Well, the fact is, I can't go over every single coin in crypto, right? There's a lot of coins, like, I don't even know what Pi was here for. And then I was like, oh, March 14, that's Pi Day. So maybe that's why Pi bumped into the top 10 cryptos when nobody knows what it does. So yeah, that seems like what happened, which I don't know if that's happened before around Pi Day, but that's what happened this Pi Day. But yeah, there's a lot of fundamentals that you guys really have to kind of think about and look at. And what I'm going to show you here with when we go over Internet Computer and Cardano is I really want you to see kind of my viewpoint on the metrics and kind of how I compare the metrics to one chain to another. No one metric is going to determine whether a coin is investable or not investable, or a good coin or not a good coin. It's really a accumulation of all of the data on these chains, and then also just kind of opinion on the matter, right? I could say Internet Computer is a great coin. It's the best coin in the world based on my analysis and data analysis, but maybe I'm going to be wrong, So you have to keep that in mind as well. You have to do what's right for your investment portfolio and do what's right for your, emotional state. Because if you can't deal with the coin going down 90% and maybe never recovering, probably not a good thing to invest in it, right? This is where I would say like the top coins are probably the investable ones, but you also want to understand like where the coins are in their cycle. For instance, people who are saying, but Cryptoviser, you got to talk about buying XRP right now. And it's like, XRP is at multi-year highs right now. Like, why would I buy it now? It's at multi-year highs. People are going to say, but Cryptoviser is going to go higher. What if it doesn't, right? We're already at multi-year highs. You don't buy high and sell higher. You buy low and sell high. So while XRP is at these multi-year highs, what do I think a good investment thesis is to look at coins that are not at their multi-year highs, which brings us to Internet Computer and some of the other coins that we're going to talk about. But let's start with Internet Computer. So Internet Computer is still higher than it was a few years ago. Let's just pull it up since 2023. Okay, maybe that didn't work. Let's do it this way. This is a very difficult chart to work with on CoinMarketCap because the price was really messed up at the beginning due to the basically due to manipulation in the price over here at the beginning. But regardless, in 2023, at the end of the year, the price was $293, right? In the last 1 year, we've basically gone from a high of $19 down to $5.70. So again, XRP is at all-time record highs currently, and Internet Computer is down from its all-time record, or multi-year record high, I should say, from about $20 down to basically about $5, which is like a 70% drop. And so just based on those factors, if the technology was exactly the same, I would say, well, obviously Internet Computer is a better buy than XRP because XRP is at all-time record highs and the Internet Computer is down 70% from its record high. But the technology between XRP and Internet Computer are very different. Remember, Ripple sells XRP. They don't need XRP to run RippleNet. Internet computer needs ICP to run the Internet Computer Protocol. The blockchain needs the coin. And if we kind of dive a little bit deeper into some of the data, we can see that Internet Computer is performing at a very high level. Right now, you can see the transactions per second. Let's refresh this, see if it changes. It showed 4,053 transactions per second. 4,000 transactions per second. This is a very big number. Now let's see how it compares to the likes of Solana. Well, Solana's transactions per second the last 24 hours when I'm recording this video is 4,300 transactions per second as well. So Solana and Internet Computer are kind of lined up in terms of their transaction throughput capabilities. Now, if you pull up, for instance, Cardano, you can see on the Cardano Explorer, the current transactions per second over the last 7 days is 1.09, which is much lower than the likes of Solana and Internet Computer. Even if there's a little error in there for Cardano, we're talking about 4,000x higher than Cardano. I mean, even half of that is 2,000x what Cardano's transaction throughput is. So, then if you look at XRP's transaction throughput, I don't even know if there's a dashboard that shows that kind of information currently, because I wasn't able to find it. Anyway, you also want to look at node distribution throughout the world. You can see that on there's total about 1,500 nodes, every continent for Internet Computer. And again, the price is down significantly. Now, the other metric I like to look at is TVL, or total value locked, on DeFi Llama. Now, one of the issues with Internet Computer Protocol is Internet Computer is not really a DeFi platform in the way that the other DeFi ecosystems are, similar to like Ethereum or Polygon or even Solana. Internet Computer is really kind of bases everything within its own ecosystem. There are not chains to other ecosystems. You can see here all of their DeFi protocols are all siloed on Internet Computer. Huge issue. Same issue with Cardano. Cardano is not bridged to other ecosystems. Now there's going to be comments down below that say, but Cryptoviser it is. No, it's not. It's really not, right? The number one DEX is only Cardano. Second is only Cardano. Third, only Cardano. Their stablecoin, only Cardano. So there is no interoperability. I mean, just go to Ethereum and you'll see the interoperability. We'll just do it here to show you. And so Internet Computer and Cardano both have serious issue when it comes to DeFi adoption, DeFi usage, and DeFi interoperability. This is a serious concern, especially in the longer term. So when you're looking at these things, you have to take it into account, but this can't be the only things that you take into account, because at the end of the day, again, as we've gone over, the staking ecosystem within Internet Computer the activity is very high. The staking participation for long periods of time is also very high. Cardano is very similar, but Cardano has had a significant reduction in live stake. Every 1% of live stake that's removed is about 376 million coins. If I'm doing the math right on that. Yeah, 376 million coins for every 1% removed. And since basically last year when I was doing these videos, we went from about 62 or 63% of all the ADA in circulation is staked to only 58%. So that's about 4 or 5% reduction. 4 or 5, I mean, you do the math on that. 376 million, and we multiply that by, we'll just say 4, that's 1.5 billion ADA have been removed from the staking mechanism. Why is that? Well, there's 2 reasons that you would remove stake from any ecosystem, really. 1 is because you're going to sell the coin. 2, you're going to use the coin in another part of the ecosystem, for instance, DeFi or transactions and payments. But then if you go to DeFi Llama, again, if we go back to the Cardano chain, you can see that Cardano, what is going on here? The whole website is glitching. All right. Berachain is, that doesn't make sense. Cardano, I think, is in the 30s. Maybe it went lower. Let's search for Cardano. Cardano, where is it? All right, Cardano's right here, number 19, and you can see total value locked in Cardano's $330 million worth. But really, what you have to look at is you have to look at the amount locked in ADA, because the dollar amount of the price of Cardano changes, where the total amount of ADA will change also. So you can see a significant reduction in DeFi. A big increase happened in 2023 into 2024. It looks like 2024. It looks like it peaked and then it started coming down from 2024. So where did all that extra ADA go that was staked? Because it didn't go to DeFi. Well, some of it was probably sold. And this is going to happen over the course of time, right? The wealth is going to be distributed amongst more people because the large whales start to sell into profits and they start to offload their coins, so their coins get distributed. So then the wealth distribution becomes more. And so that's probably why we've seen kind of a tight range in Cardano price over the last year or two. Granted, we've seen major moves, right? From 30 cents to $1.20, that's a 4x. We've come back down. Maybe it didn't hit $1.20, but it hit around $1.20. And then it's come down to 75 cents, which is still basically like 2x, 2.5x from the 30-cent low. How high are we going to go in Cardano? I don't know. Do I think that there's still room to go higher? Yes, but I caution my viewers, right? Is it based on fundamentals? Because the fundamentals are not showing as much tech as we were seeing with the likes of Solana and Internet Computer. But again, you have to use more than one metric to determine what you're investing in, right? I mean, just because Solana has a higher transaction throughput than Cardano, from a trading standpoint or an investing standpoint, that may not mean that Solana is a better investment than Cardano. In fact, based on where we are in the cycle, it appears that while Solana may have another run to the upside, Solana was the best performing crypto so far of this bull market. Out of all the coins, all the major coins in the top 100, Solana is the best performing. It went from $8 to $260 during this market from 2023 through today. And so it may have already had its run, where Cardano, XRP already had its run. Cardano may not have had its run already. Internet Computer Protocol may not have already had its run. Maybe it did. Maybe Cardano already had its run. Maybe that's all we're going to see in this market, right? But I look at Ethereum and I'm like, Ethereum hasn't even hit all-time record highs. And from a fundamental standpoint, if we go look at a dashboard, ultrasound.money of the Ethereum ecosystem, similar to what we're doing with Solana and Cardano and Internet Computer, what am I going to see? Well, I'm going to see Ethereum's continuing to grow, continuing to maintain wide-scale usage across the globe. And meanwhile, when we look at Solana, again, since what happened a few months ago, we had the meme coin debacle. And what's happened since then? Significant reduction in active wallets, significant reduction in new accounts. I think I have a chart of transactions. I thought I did at least. Oh yeah, right here, transactions per second. You can see that while we are still kind of at record highs, right? It's come down slightly, the number of transactions per second. But yeah, a huge dip in active wallets, right? Since this peak, this was in October, November. And new accounts, you can see a big jump up during the meme coin season, and then we're kind of stabilizing out. So does this mean it's over for Solana? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. You have to make the decision for yourself in your own investment thesis. But generally speaking, like when I see what Internet Computer's doing from an AI perspective, what Ethereum's doing from an upgrade perspective and integration perspective across the financial blockchains and DeFi ecosystems, to see that the Trump organization and also World Liberty Finance are plowing money into Ethereum, to see the crypto czar, Tether's CEO in the US, I mean, these are all very, very bullish, extremely bullish. And like we talk about on many different videos, I also am looking at Bitcoin mining stocks. And one of the ones that I'm looking at very closely is Bitfarms. Recently, Ben, who's the CEO of Bitfarms, was on Bloomberg, and they talked pretty extensively about kind of where Bitcoin miners are in terms of this very strategic position of having power, energy, right? And energy is what drives and powers the network to operate. But it also gives these companies the ability to pivot and switch to AI and high power compute as well. And as we've talked about with specifically Bitfarms, I am extremely bullish on the Bitcoin mining stocks. Do I think that some of them have peaked already? Yes. Do I think that they're going to go up if Bitcoin goes up? Yes. But I also think a lot of them are highly suppressed because as the Bitcoin price is about 4x from its low, the cycle low was 18,000, we'll just say 20,000. And now we're at 80,000, that's a 4x. Many of these Bitcoin mining companies are significantly down, including Bitfarms. But listen to what Ben says when he's asked about, what this means, the U.S. energy policy for Bitfarms. And remember, Bitfarms is currently undergoing they're undergoing a growth in the U.S. footprint, which is huge because they are a Canadian-based company. But I think they said by the end of 2025, 70% of their Bitcoin mining is going to be in the US. Maybe I'm making that up, but I think that's what he said. But let's listen to what he says in this Bloomberg interview. It looks like he's screaming, but he's not. So let's listen in.
How are you looking at this back and forth?
Let me restart. And this is playing at 1.25 speed. And by the way, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you're up to this point in the video. And if you want to help support the channel, use the super chat down below in the comments, or you can click the join button to learn more about becoming a channel member. Let's listen into Bitfarms CEO and Bloomberg anchors.
How are you looking at this back and forth between the U.S. and Canada?
The opportunities that are present in the United States are also present in Canada. And I think this will all resolve itself and end up in a much more deregulated and smooth and efficient market, because for years it's been tied up in regulatory red tape. I don't think this is anything new. I think it's just being drawn a lot more attention to it.
But certainly the tariffs that have been announced are new.
Certainly, yes.
So how does that affect the Bitcoin mining business in Canada, given the fact that lots of Canadian miners have sites close to the northern border?
Yeah, so we have, all of our sites are based in Quebec. And I think the two largest areas for mining in Canada are going to be Quebec and Alberta, followed maybe by British Columbia. I don't know if there's a lot of Bitcoin mining happening in Ontario. It's not as robust of an energy market.
And just to be clear, he's specifically talking about the Canadian operations. They do have operations outside the U.S. that he's going to discuss in a minute, but he's specifically now talking about the Canadian market.
And over the last several years, they've really taken a big push on cutting back on baseload capacity. And so they have a much less attractive market for Bitcoin miners and for data center companies. So I don't think it's really impacting the industry so much today. But I think it does have implications for what policy and regulatory frameworks are going to look like in the future. And what we want to see as a company is we want to see greater access to electricity markets. We want to see less regulation on setting up new businesses, setting up new power applications, so that we can continue to grow our business.
Now I'm going to pause right here to show you this. On the screen, it says that Bitfarms owns 8 Bitcoin data centers in Canada, 1 facility in Washington, 1 development in Pennsylvania, and 1 facility in Argentina, and 3 in Uruguay.
Right. Expand on that a little bit, because on one hand, you have the president saying he wants to send more electricity to the United States. Electricity, power is certainly something you need as a Bitcoin miner. When you look at the locations across the U.S., when you're thinking about the power needs, it's a local business, right? I mean, does what happened at the White House really impact the way that this works on a local level for you, given the power needs that are required to expand?
Yeah, to a certain extent, of course it does. As a business, we don't really control our revenue from Bitcoin, right? The Bitcoin price goes up or down, and that's out of our control. What we can control as a business is our costs. And so it's really important as a Bitcoin miner to focus on controlling our cost of energy. And one of the ways that we can do that is we can look for pockets of energy that are underutilized, that are used to power heavy industry, which has been outsourced to other countries over the last 20, 30 years. And so
maybe not so much anymore. I mean, that's at least the hope.
Well, that's the pendulum swinging back, right? And that's why the Bitcoin miners are so much in the spotlight right now, because for the last 4 or 5 years, they've been heavily investing in all this energy infrastructure that used to power aluminum smelters and steel refineries and all this stuff which was outsourced. Now, Bitcoin miners have these assets, and as the pendulum swifts back to America, those assets are now in high demand.
And this is huge. This is really, really big because what they have been doing is very smart, right? The Bitcoin miners, they make money based on the cost of mining. So if they can get that cost of mining down, they make more money regardless of what the price is of Bitcoin. And so what do these Bitcoin mining companies do? They buy up these facilities that used to have other industries in them, right? They buy up hydroelectric plants, other areas that have energy facilities that are no longer open. And this is exactly what Ben is talking about. And one of the reasons I'm pulling this up is because yes, I am very bullish on Bitfarms specifically, but all of the Bitcoin mining companies I think are going to do fairly well because now they have another business, or hopefully they will. Let's be clear, because the previous cycle, these Bitcoin mining companies, it was like, who was running these companies? Because we went into a bear market and none of them had any money left, and they had all these machines that they purchased that were being activated in a bear market. And so now they have the opportunity to still make money and still become even bigger than what they are in the bear market by utilizing their facilities and their energy for things that pay more during a bear market. For instance, high power compute, AI, etc. This is the first time that I've seen Ben. He did a media blitz. He was on Yahoo Finance as well. This is the first time I've seen him really kind of talking, and really, I think that he could have done a little bit of a better job talking about Bitfarms specifically and what Bitfarms is doing and why he's so excited about what they're doing at Bitfarms. But I think that's a first good step, because I don't think that I see a lot of hate to Bitfarms because people lost money in the stock. They don't think that Ben is doing a good job. Keep in mind, he only took the job last year. I think that they switched the CEO out last year. And since then, they've been kind of hustling and bustling. They just sold the facility to Hive Blockchain. They're purchasing Stronghold Digital, SDIG. That's supposed to close in March of 2025. That deal, that's going to bring 5 exahashes of growth to Bitfarms instantly. And so I do think that there's a lot of positivity still in the Bitcoin mining space and beyond this cycle as well for the Bitcoin miners. Just really look for the ones that are focused on energy, like Ben was saying, and also AI and high power compute, which is what Bitfarms is also doing. So the question for this video is now a good time to buy? I don't really think that there's ever a bad time to buy if you're dollar cost averaging in and if you're looking at investments that you're thinking about for the longer term. Generally speaking, most stocks and most cryptos over a course of time do go higher. But again, we want to really focus on these top cryptos that Wall Street is buying into, because number one, yes, the volatility may slow down as we go through time and build more derivative products and more Wall Street involvement with ETFs and trading and stuff like that. We're going to see the volatility significantly decrease. While that may not be good for returns, I said we're going to see volatility decrease, not disappear. So we may not have 500% swings in a day. We may have 10% swings in a day. And as long as you believe what you're investing in, I think that's the most important thing, right? Like, I've been investing in Bitfarms and I've been following this company for about a year now, maybe a little bit more. And I've dollar cost average in since then. And I would say pretty down in my portfolio still. And I could be mad, but the only person to be mad at would be myself, because I'm the one who made the investment and continue to dollar cost average in. But I continue to dollar cost average in is because I believe in the company the same way that I believe in Bitcoin, the same way I believe in Ethereum, the same way I believe in Internet Computer, same way I believe in some of these coins will perform even though I don't necessarily hold them, right? Because I don't think that the risk reward is worth it in those coins. Those coins do include Cardano, Solana, BNB, XRP. These are not coins that I want to invest in currently. Maybe in the future that will change, but currently these are not for me. Doesn't mean it's not right for you, right? Because your investment thesis and outlook may be very different. And so these are kind of things that we look at when we're analyzing the market, analyzing, is now a good time to buy, right? Obviously, we don't want to buy the top and sell the bottom. I've also told you guys I think it's a little bit worrisome that, Michael Saylor continues to buy the top of the market, buy the top of the market. I mean, we've literally been down 20% from the top, and MicroStrategy hasn't purchased a dime more. Wouldn't it make sense that they purchase at $84,000 versus $102,000? Yeah, but their most recent purchase was at $100,000, not at $80,000. And why haven't they purchased more yet? Right? What are they waiting for? I don't know. But for us, it doesn't matter what they're doing. We want to buy low, sell high. And a lot of these coins are low. They're down 50%. Could we go down another 50%? Sure. Could we go down another 90%? Absolutely. But understanding kind of the fundamentals in the market and understanding what the coins that you're investing in and you believe in. But just remember, which coins are the government looking at? Which coins are highly interoperable with the stable coins? Which coins have high transaction throughput? Which coins have constant upgrades going on to improve the network? Which coins are integrating with traditional finance? These are all things to look at and put in as part of your portfolio analysis. But I want to know from you guys down below. Like, do you think now is a good time to buy, or do you think that it's a hold pattern? Personally, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to buy, sell, or just hold, because we could go down another 50%, and I don't want my portfolio dropping another 50%. But if I sold, what would happen the next day? The whole market would go up by 200%, literally the day after I would sell. So I don't want to sell either. So I don't want to buy because I don't know if the market's going to go down. I don't want to sell because the moment I sell, the market's going to go up. And I also don't want to hold because we could go down, right? So it's like, what does one do? And that's why I think dollar cost averaging is important. And it's never a bad time to just sit and wait, right? Because if you believe the market's going to go up over time, sitting and waiting for a few months to see what the market does is not really going to affect the longer term investment thesis. And so these are just some ideas and thoughts and strategies on how to invest, how to analyze what's going on in the markets, where to invest in. But remember, I am not a financial advisor, and I'm definitely not your financial advisor. So make sure you do your own research before you make investment choices, and don't make investment choices based on anything I say. Could be wrong, could be not up to date, could be incorrect. So that's why you need to do your own research and understand what you're investing in and feel comfortable about it. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, that way you never miss a new video. And I'll see you when I see you. Crypto on.